Josh McKnight, and welcome to the Solas Big Boat Challenge. It's a fantastic day here today, and we're at a great venue here on Sydney Harbour, bustling with traffic on the water today, and why not when you see what's on offer. This might be a warm-up race, but it's no walk in the park for the helmsperson and crew who are racing yachts of this size inside Sydney Harbour. Arguably the biggest inshore race of the year, so let's take a look at the lineup. We've got Bo Jess, back after a short hiatus and will prove to be a wild card among the fleet. She has had some success against Rambler 88 and a few of her bigger rivals. Then there's Blackjack, who is a regular entrant with a fast Volvo 70 design and Chinese Whisper. The smallest of the fleet, but a good contender for the handicap win. We also have Maserati, another Volvo 70, who I'm sure will have Blackjack firmly in her sight. And then there are the big three, Perpetual Loyal, Scallywag and Wild Oats 11. All fast yachts with 100-foot long racing hulls and plenty of past rivalry on the water. Scallywag contends today with upgrades including a new sail wardrobe and no doubt have invested a lot in an attempt to take line honours from the previous winner, Wild Oats 11. We spoke to a few sailors about what they're expecting from today's event.
It's the first opportunity for the teams to really get out there and race in a very tight, confined race course. Puts a lot of pressure on the teams, systems on the boats, how quickly we can react. I think probably the southerly that came through last year was, put a lot of the maxi boats under a lot of pressure because things happen quick out there. Doesn't necessarily help our performance of the boats because we're racing in flat water, but it certainly helps the dynamics of the team and how quickly the team can react to very different dynamic situations in the harbour. We've actually had to, in some ways, slow it down to make it faster, if that makes any sense. But really, we've put smaller sails on the boat, realised that she doesn't need the big sails. The boat only weighs 16 tonnes. So it's a very interesting yacht. It's taken a long time for us to learn how to sail it. It's half the weight of a super maxi and only a little bit smaller.
It's just the whole pageantry of Sydney Harbour and the biggest boats in the fleet racing round. By all accounts, it's a fantastic day where a lot of people get involved, and there's a feeling of Sydney to Hobart's really arrived, and here we go. This is the actual first test for a lot of the maxis. So people that would say don't do that race because if you break something 2 weeks before the Hobart, there's not much chance of fixing it. And as you say, the course is very tight, and you've got these big 100-footers racing around in front of you or around you. Things can go wrong. So you need the best guys on board and the best crew to get you around the course. But I think it depends on how you approach the race, I suppose, in terms of whether you go full on or you just sit back and kind of play the race out. I think in the line honour stakes, we'd like to think that if the conditions are right, we might be able to sneak past one of the 100-footers. That would be probably one of the ambitions of the race. In terms of handicap, I think the boat rates very well, and so given the right conditions, which unfortunately will probably be a 30-knot southerly the whole way because the boat goes very well upwind, we should do very well.
When racing these big boats around the Sydney Harbour racetrack is exciting stuff, and it's a great workout for the team. We do a lot of training beforehand, and just to be able to strut your stuff and out jig the other teams is pretty satisfying. So it's it means nothing for the Hobart, but it means a lot to the team building, and it's if you can come home with a good day around the racetrack there, it's pretty satisfying. It's a very different boat. I mean, we weren't really doing the foil for the DSS reasons of stability. It was more about bow lift. So the modifications have certainly fixed that problem, and to pull 500 kilos out of the boat's a really big deal for us. So big advantage for us as far as speed in every direction.
Looking at the course today, start line is off Point Piper. The fleet then sails north, up the harbour to the windward mark at Junction Bell, followed by a downwind run to Bradley's Head, turning the corner to head towards Fort Denison. We then head to the windward mark via Point Piper before heading home to the finish at Garden Island. It may seem like a long course, but these Grand Prix race yachts will glide through the water at pace. The crews will work hard to perform lots of manoeuvres in a short period of time. We take you to our commentary team on the water, Andrew Buckland and Warwick Rookland.
1:15 to go. Scallywag comes up hard. Got Bo Jess just below them. Scallywag's well advanced. Now the Oats comes up. Just slides in front of Perpetual Loyal. Yep.
They might be a bit early,
They might be a bit early, Yeah, they're all going to have to burn time. Scallywag's basically on port tack, at least head to wind, and very slow. 45 to go. Oats is early. Definitely Scallywag is stopped in the water and early. Blackjack, to me, could get the best of this start. They're unfurling. They're going for their code 0 or upwind, J1 max. So Oats burning time, Perpetual Loyal looking good, but they're still a little bit early too. A lot of tide under their keels, pushing them across the line. Scallywag's dead in the water. So is Oates. Okay, Loyal's going to get the best of this start. Blackjack's going to own the boat. Wild Oats stopped, absolutely stopped, and the gun's gone and Oates is doing 2 knots. Loyal has got good speed. Scallywag is actually not bad speed. They're coming into this crowded spectator area, and while it's not a cut-off zone, they're going to find it difficult to thread the needle through all of this stuff. Scallywag fully fired up now. They're going to be looking to tack. I mean, they can technically call water, I believe, with this amount of boats. Okay, so Beau Jest in the gas of Loyal, and that is a lot of gas. That's a big rig on those 100-footers. And the 80-footer, Beau Jest, is still hanging in there. And just letting you know, Blackjack across the other shore, Maserati, the other Volvo 70, looking very sticky on the right-hand eastern shore. But now Scallywag looks fully wicked up, got good pressure and punched out a little bit in front of the Oats, so maybe got a little bit back. Just remember, they just had to do a slight duck on the Oats at the last cross. Probably about 400 metres to the top mark, 500 metres. Scallywag coming back. Will have rights on Oats. Can they get a piece of them, or Oats far enough ahead? No, Oats is going to tack. So if we just slow down a bit here, watch this. So Oates just dumping one on them. And Perpetual Loyal leads this race.
Not a bad job.
Very good job.
They came out of that side really well, didn't they?
Yeah.
So wound it up again.
And Perpetual Loyal is tacking back also. So this is a 3-way match race almost. They're all just going punch for punch. Perpetual Loyal dumping some gas onto the Oats. Scallywag's just got a little bit off the Oates' hip there, so not being hurt too badly. But Perpetual Loyal will hurt the Oats.
Well, it looks to me like there's some mainsail trim problem on the Scallywag. They've been sailing with it inverted, so I think they might have broken something. They've just installed a hydraulic traveller. System, and maybe that's not going too well.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Buck. To me, it just looked like a bit of blowback. That jib, we were looking at it before, it seems a little bit deeper than, let's say, it's on the Oats.
Wow.
But that's a great shot. Got 2 new winches on Scallywag to help with the manoeuvre, so a little bit more line speed and power, which will help with the hoists and the jibing. But breeze just increased, maybe another 4 knots, Bucko.
Yeah, pretty solid up the top here, up to about nearly 16, I would say, and that's well up range for the rig the guys have got, but that's not going to bother them. They'll be looking forward to the run. We can see the windward mark. It's just about 400 yards dead ahead of us.
Right on our bow, yeah.
So these guys would like a little lead into the mark on starboard tack to get their downwind sails prepared.
Perpetual now unfolding their downwind chute, and that's a good deployment for them. Next one around will be Oates, who's still, they're a little bit late perhaps. They've still got to get that sail into the jammer at the top of the mast, and they haven't got there yet. Then they've got to get luff tension before they can deploy, so they've pulled that late. So if they try and deploy that without luff tension on it, that could be a problem. So still waiting.
And have a go at this cheeky little Beau Jest underneath the bow of Scallywag.
When they get to the top mark. Okay, now Oates, a little bit sloppy. And we saw that, funnily enough, at Hamo, didn't we, Kilo? You know, under pressure, they made some crew handling mistakes. Okay.
So look at this for a turn.
So this will be their new...
Go, you good thing, Scallywag.
I think this will be their new VMG runner. And they're deploying now.
Yeah, it's nice and shiny, was.
And what a great deploy. And they did that well, bow on the... And Beau Jest, a little bit slow with... They're having a problem getting their downwind chute deployed. So I didn't get any deltas on that, but we'll keep a bit of an eye on it at the next mark.
Well, here we go, the trick here. And Wild Oats has gone to a loose luff sail, so a non-furling sail on the Wild Oats, which is their kind of what we call an A2. conventional-ish sail, not a rolling furl sail. And the problem for these guys is they furl this thing to jibe. And that just determines the speed of the turn. Look at the oats here, guys. They've slowed it right down. So the furl, we can hear the calls from off the deck. The furl starts and about 1,000 turns of the furling line. And about 60 metres of sheet to come in. So it comes off the drum, high-speed drum at about 4 metres a second, which is a bit faster than you can pull with your bare hands. So see the complexity of these boats with a canning keel and a furl, and they've got the job done pretty good, really. But it still takes 15, 20 seconds, and so they don't want to do too many of those. But that's a pretty good job.
So Oates now gassing perpetual oil.
New leader.
Yep, correct. New leader. And the thing is here, Oates can carry on to the shore and then call water on Loyal. Loyal now starting a little bit hotter, trying to get out of the gas of the Oates. So I didn't see Loyal's last jibe, but the Oates made a big gain there.
Well, there you are, looking back at Loyal. All that happened in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, or even less, Bob. It's just amazing, huh?
Yeah.
So they'll be going to a mark about 100 metres ahead of them right now. I don't know whether they'll carry on a little bit before they jibe and head towards the Opera House and Sydney Harbour Bridge to round Fort Denison. So looking very impressive. And it's going to get a bit lighter on this next leg as a bit of land comes into effect. So here goes Oates now into their jibe.
So even though it all looks pretty calm here, guys, on the camera cat we're sitting steadily here at 17 knots. The Wild Oats pretty effortless at that speed, not much spray happening. The spectator fleet's struggling to keep up a little bit here.
So that was extraordinary, Bucko. The difference, Perpetual kept going out to that eastern shore, separated away, and they lost an enormous amount of ground. And I didn't see the last manoeuvre, but they've been doing it pretty well. And now Oates is, a good couple of minutes ahead, I think, of the fighting duo of Perpetual Loyal and Scallywag.
Wild Oats actually a little bit quiet into the mark.
They've got to get all that washing down somewhere between
and
now.
They're into a big header here, into the hot wind. Gil, I think the wind on top of the harbour bridge is actually westerly.
I think you're right.
I'm sorry to have to report that, but that gives you an idea how localised things are. And we're just watching the Oates here collapse fully, and a little bit of westerly still at the harbour bridge. So warm water, and wow.
They're Perpetual Loyal and Scallywag are coming back to these guys. This is a real transition zone, but I think what we'll probably see is that maybe the Oates will get around this fort and then punch back out into the breeze, but an opportunity again for the second and third place boats. Okay, we're looking back now at Perpetual Loyal and Scallywag.
I mean, looking at that, you'd back Loyal now, they've got the pace, and equally the Scallywag boys are on starboard, and they're having some discussion about that. And Scallywag all good there.
Quite a bit of chat.
Doing a jibe furl, but they've come with wind, Bob. Look at that.
All the way down,
They just brought a bit of nor'easter with them. They've got a furl that's good enough, and they're sailing the boat at sort of 6, 7, 8 knots. So the game of snakes and ladders continues. And they're just going to get round the fort with wind from the nor'east, so they didn't experience any of that westerly flow, or very little of it, that the other boys got. And if they just stay alert here, the Scallywag, and they've both got enough speed to just coast through, I think. They're worrying about the water depth here.
Well, the furl wasn't 100%, but they're getting it down, so they're happy.
Well, at least they haven't got too much pressure. They've just got to get that. Okay, what are they doing here? Okay, they're going for a leeward drop here, which they don't normally would get away with, but because it's so light, that they can get away with that. But they've got a bit of that under the bow, Bob. They're going to have to get that under control, because there's more pressure coming, and if they don't get that on board, if they don't get that on board now before they start arcing up speed, they're going to have to stop the boat to do it. So that's a good little advantage back to Scallywag over Perpetual Loyal. The gaps have kind of opened up a little bit again, and the breeze, to me, Bucko, looking upwind, has increased again.
Yep, looking at wild oats, I'd say they're in 16, 17. So wind in this part of the harbour, and it can be quite localised in strange ways.
Loyal has pulled a little bit of time back out of Scallywag, and I just noticed on the bow of Loyal, the bowman is up there. Looks like he's trying to repair something or get something on the furler a little bit more organised. Yeah, so they'll just want to go as far as they can towards the island. So Scallywag missed out an enormous amount there at the end. I don't know if there was any shift in that, but Loyal, or slightly different breeze, but Loyal was something a lot higher. And have a look at this. I reckon Scallywag is going to go the other side of the island.
Oh, don't do it.
Yeah, I think he is, Bob.
Oh dear.
So not much longer to go upwind, and then we'll see the downwind sails again. Loyal going back to the western shore. Tom Slingsby steering. Nominated as co-skipper with Anthony Bell. Remember that this boat basically came back from the death. Young John Winning Jr. Looks like he's calling a bit of strategy. And definitely Perpetual Loyal has pulled wild oats back. I've got the time on that. At the bottom mark, it had to be a plus 30 at least. And now as Loyal completes its tack and gets its bow to the mark, it's 22 seconds. Okay, Oates hasn't deployed yet. Okay, Loyal's getting a good deploy of their downwind sail, much better than the Oates. The Oates still struggling. And what's extraordinary is, like, super fast boats like these Volvo 70s, which are just rocket ships, how quickly these 100-footers leave them behind.
Yeah, that's impressive. I would have thought Blackjack, particularly, it looked like it was really on the steroids. Put some more on, a lot of height on the mast, and they know how to sail that thing. They don't leave anything behind in the delivery of its performance. So that's just, as you say, that's the difference.
Yeah.
100 foot versus 70 foot. A little bit of work to do.
Yeah, and should be noted that all these 100-footers are being sailed well. All got good people on board. They're having a bit of a problem.
It's not up.
No, it's not up. And he can't get it away. He's having problem bearing it away.
Main off.
And now it grabs. And as Bucko said, we could visibly see a bit of cavitation on that. And still waiting for their VMG chute to get to the top of the mast so they can get it in the lock.
They couldn't get it up early because it was a bit messy.
Yeah. Yeah, that last furl at Fort Denison, yeah, looks a little bit untidy there. And now they're going to have to get luff tension on that through the downhaul before they can deploy that.
Do you reckon it'll come out?
Not sure, Bob.
Don't need too many twists in it.
No, they're still struggling now. They're just starting to get a bit of luff tension on that. And the jib coming down now. But they don't like being unfurled when they're soft on the luff. Okay, now they're having another go, and then this can be very difficult to get undone. You see David's hotting the boat up and then coming down, and that's trying to help induce this unfurl. But with that sail, like the 2/3 of it, or more, maybe half up high, already out.
Are you better off running deep? That was. I don't know.
I'm not sure, Kilo. But there's certainly, this is not ideal.
I think the only way that's going to come out is they take the apparent wind off it a bit. because the top part's unfurled, and so
to catch up.
it's got to refurl before the whole thing will unfurl. We're back to low range nor'east. Amazing, absolutely amazing. So, and there's not. I think that the wild oats are just a little quicker than the perpetual in this, but the perpetual law's done a mighty good job.
So Oates has got around the top of Garden Island, so they're clear on that front, and I can't quite see the finishing boat yet. I can see a mark, so they're good. They're good to go through here unless something really funky happens at the last minute. And as you said, in terms of the postcard moment, it's pretty cool with Sydney, with all the towers, the Opera House. So it's all going on here. The alarms, the sirens are going. And the Oats now just a few boat lengths away for another victory in the Solas Big Boat Challenge. So that shoot's been pretty handy for them.
It's a money shoot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dead set, money shoot.
Well, it's probably the oldest sail on the boat. That's the most interesting bit. You know, it's just an old all-purpose A3, whatever. You know, made out of old-fashioned stuff, pretty much. No laminate.
Well, 3 cheers for the Mighty Wild Oats 11.
So, and again, this wind here just hanging in enough to get them to the finish. Up the top of the bridge, none now again. So very spotty in near the city, but the Oats wins.
Yep. Well done. Champions. Dip your lid, folks. That's a pretty good outfit right there.
And they've actually extended over Perpetual Loyal again. Perpetual's out of shot, but is having to sail a higher angle and going to have to cover more distance. And the poor old scallywag, I don't know.
They were bareheaded.
I think they're a goner.
So the Loyal, they'd be pleased with that. They demonstrated pretty good speed upwind, not quite so good downwind, and good execution, so they'd be happy.
And they'll be good for the Hobart.
Yeah, yeah. It's not an upwind race though. It's really a reaching race. Anyway, just for everybody watching again, no wind on the top of the Harbour Bridge again. So it's still volatile down here.
But if it is a reaching race, and it's a long way out to start calling weather predictions from my experience, it's. But if it is, and there's breeze, these guys are a huge threat. Scallywag and Beau Jess. I mean, Beau Jess is no small boat. It's 80 foot long, and it is a big boat, but these monsters now make those things look small by comparison. It's so critical, isn't it, that, as we've seen before, just getting that furl nice and neat. And nice furl there, as Bucko said. Now just get it out for the final one and finish on a high note. They're waiting, or maybe they're not going to bother.
Bring it out, fellas. It's got to come out.
Yeah, here it comes. So they'll go away and lock all that into the brain and the afterguard, and the whole team have a discussion about what went right and what didn't go so good today. And just to fill in a few other little details, we had Beau Jess cross in fourth. We saw that. Next will be Blackjack with a pretty handy lead over the other Volvo 70 Maserati. And then not too far behind them, there's 60-footer Chinese Whispers.
That's it for the camera cat. Bye for now.